Good tidings, friends. This is Gokai Spartan. I'm just making a video just to give you guys an update on, just what's going on with me, project and things of that nature. I haven't posted an episode in like over a week now. I mean, I posted my I recently posted a short with a sneak peek for the next episode with Nominate going in her battle in the Islands of Illusions. But more or less, right now I'm at a crossroads where I have an abundance of characters and an abundance of storylines. And more or less, when I create these episodes, I usually do it part by part. Like I don't do everything in one sitting. And I could just release it in parts, but for me, I'd rather release a full episode than have to release part 1 to the episode, part 2 to the episode. So what I usually do, I post the episode, but I post the sneak peeks first, I wouldn't make the entire episode sneak peeks. And then I'd post a full episode. And then later on, I would accumulate those episodes later and make a full movie out of it. That's how you get like a 2-hour movie essentially. And just in general, like I already have a lot that I'm working with. There's a lot that people want me to include as well. Shout outs to Art Girl, shout outs to Chase, and shout outs to Austin, all three of you. You've been incredibly consistent on this channel. And I haven't forgotten about either of you guys. Chase, I'm still working out the kinks in your team and how I'm going to include them in the story. As we spoke before, I did say that I was eventually going to make an entirely new universe for Power Rangers that's like a mirror to the Mighty Morphin universe. That's something that I have planned, just in general, because through the history of Power Rangers, more or less, if you look at it from Power Rangers, we got Mighty Morphin all the way through Cosmic Fury. Sentai, we got Gold Ranger all the way to Go Junior. But what if Power Rangers took place in a different dimension that had no ties or bearings to the one that we have now? What if they just had a different set of 30 Power Rangers? The whole original set of Power Rangers with new teams and everything. The reason why I've come up with this concept is because I came up with this concept long before I got on YouTube. Like, I always had it in my mind that I was going to make a team of Rangers, even though the teams were different then. Like, I had a team of Keyblade Rangers, Dual Rangers, and just like, there was a team of Hellfire Rangers, Datascape Rangers. There's a lot of various different teams that I had, a full team of Insects before King Ultra was even made. But now the teams are going to be slightly different because I've grown since I've been making these teams and stuff like that. And most of the things like Keyblade Rangers and Dual Rangers, we can have it. We kind of already did that. Where we have the Dual Rangers with Yugi in them, and we have Keyblade Rangers with Sora in them, and Xion and Organization 13's Group Ex Machina. So I kind of already did that, but like the Flawless Military is its own thing because like they hack the Morphin Grid and they're creating powers on the fly. Whereas this new universe that I'm proposing is going to be something that has its own history, and it'll probably start off from the 27 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Basically, in episode 23 of Power Rangers Ultimate Universe, Kimberly mentions that she went to the 2017 team and she was the mentor for a while until she left Billy in charge. I could branch off from there and create 29 different teams of Power Rangers and give it an entire history. I plan on doing that. And that also gives other people opportunity, people that wanted to be a part of the project, to be an organic Power Ranger in this universe, more or less. But that arc more or less is going to... This is why I have not fully uploaded the episode yet, because right now I'm kind of... I wouldn't say that I have writer's block, but I kind of do. Because more or less, like I said, if you've been seeing what I've been posting lately, I posted so many different Rangers. There's the Rick and Morty Rangers, Pokemon Rangers. I made Rangers for Nicktoons. I've been making Rangers and characters this entire week. So I think I just overloaded myself with the amount of shit that I have. Which it was already fucking bloated to begin with. So now I literally just created so many characters, so many concepts. And I'm trying to get back to the story, more or less, and my deadline is going to be Sunday. By Sunday, I will have an episode up, period. I will have the episode up, because I've already posted most of it. I posted the other half to the Thanos fight on TikTok already, although I'm going to more or less I might post that part today at some point, I'm not entirely sure, but more or less, for sure it's going to be posted when I actually post the full episode, because I got Nominees and Thanos' mental battles already done. Nominees is already up. Thanos is already up on TikTok. And I'm more or less finishing up the Island of Illusions plot. I still gotta work on Tintin, Louisa, and Rickon's illusionary battles, which is harder for me to work on than the other characters, because for instance, for Lucky Vaughn, his insecurity will just be tied to all the various foes that he's fighting and hasn't fought before, because Lucky Vaughn's a studious individual, he's studying Power Ranger history. Plus his mom is like, goddess and stuff. He doesn't want her to always hold his hand. So that's where his insecurity would come from. Thanos was literally in the death games, Squid Games, where, you know, he had to get money. He had to get his money up because he done put so much money on his Bitcoin with MG Coin and it didn't work out. So, more or less, having something to do with the Squid Games would be good for Thanos. Nominate, she literally was a prisoner in Castle Oblivion from Marluxia Locke in the organization. So having Nominate get her lick back on that is great. And Aemon, throughout his entire life, he was bullied by Luke, Jake, and Aegon, and they was basically bullying him. That's why he got the dragon that he got now. So feeding on that insecurity for him would be a good one for him. And Terranort is basically, it's as if Terranort had got to start all over again, where he's his own person now, but he would still have memories of all the things that happened in Kingdom Hearts 3, and he would remember getting his ass beat by that sentient armor. And I remember getting my ass beat by that sentient armor. I never beat the Lingering Will. I beat everybody in Kingdom Hearts 2 but him. I'm keeping it 100, guys. So yeah, so that's what. And Terranort, essentially, he's now basically Lokora has his soul, and they're gonna have to rescue Terranort. But now, when it comes to the other three characters, Louisa, Tintin, and Rickon, I don't have much. I'm gonna have to come up with something because I don't have much to work with these three. Because Tintin, a swing got more screen time than Tintin. A literal swing that Naruto sat on got more screen time than you. And I'm thinking about what could I possibly do for a Tintin illusionary art? Because I remember in Naruto, when Madara put the Genjutsu with Tintin, she ended up in the Road to Ninja world where Naruto was Minma, he had black hair, and all of their personalities were swapped. I could do something probably with that, but I felt like that's already been done in the movie and in the show already. So I could possibly make it that Madara attacked her village and stuff like that, and it's on fire. But I kind of want to do something like that with Louisa, because she has a village too, and like she wants to protect that village as well. And the thing about Encanto is we only have the base movie to work with him. We didn't necessarily have an enemy in that movie, except if you want to count Abuela, which I don't count Abuela as an enemy because, like, you know, I guess she was the antagonist of the movie or whatever the case may be, but there was no outside force that they had to vanquish. And the only thing that they had in my recollective memory of the movie is the settlers that happened back then when Abuela was young, and when she got she got into the casita, and the casita became magic and started to give them all gifts and stuff like that. I could probably do something with the settlers, maybe there'd be that, or maybe it could be an insecurity where Louisa is not like the strongest. Maybe someone could attack her village, maybe it could be Hulk, or maybe it could be she could still have past memories when Divatox was with Renaissance attacked it. So from what Louisa, I'm essentially building from scratch, because her whole character is, I'm the strong one, I'm not nervous, everything is tied to that movie, but that movie is only a one and done, and they don't give me much to work with. Rickon, I have a little bit more to work with him, but here's the problem with Rickon. Rickon wasn't necessarily a character in Game of Thrones. Like, more or less, he was just an NPC with the name Stark, and he ended up dying, and that's what ended up happening. Now, there's a lot of things that happened to his family. The Red Wedding, Ramsay Bolton, Theon attacking Winterfell, just the Lannisters in general, Daenerys burning the entire city to the ground, Arya and Jon being there to witness it. There's a lot of avenues I could go with Rickon, because my Game of Thrones knowledge is up there. So there's a lot of avenues I could go with him, but it's just figuring out exactly where I want to go with Rickon, because there's a lot. Like I said, I could go the Theon route with Rickon because him and Bran do have that shared experience. Or I could go the Umber route, because remember, him and Osha were already, they were supposed to be in the Umbers, and then the Umbers gave Osha and Rickon to Ramsay, so I could do something with that. Or maybe he could be running and Ramsay can like be shooting him with arrows, and then maybe he zigzags and turns into a Blue Ranger, and then Ramsay turns into his monster form and make a scrap. I could do something like that. Or maybe he could be a survival when Daenerys is burning the city to the ground. Like with Rickon, it's hard because, like I said, his family went through stuff. He went through stuff, but he was barely a character. Like, he was barely on the screen. I barely had time to relate to him, which is why I put him into Star Force to begin with, because I wanted to work with characters that wasn't given much. Granted, like I wanted to work with certain characters that wasn't given much. Star Force is like a mixed bag, because you got characters like Aemon and Aegon, which I could work on for days. And like Nominate, I can work on Nerf for days, and even Aragi, which I'm gonna have to get back to eventually, because he's not in this Island of Illusions arc. Who knows where Naragi is? Naragi's probably just fucking off somewhere, or maybe he's probably with Joffrey. More or less, he's probably with Joffrey, because Joffrey got a bunch of people with him. Because the Lannisters they trying to take out the Galactic Clash House in their own way, because they tired of waiting on the flawless military. So that's why the Lannisters is out here activating Microcosmos and doing things. And the Starks and Baratheons are all in space too, because the Starks want to get back at all the people that kept on attacking Winterfell, especially Athena. And the Baratheons, they just want to get at Tommen and Marcella, which Stannis Baratheon is going to have to figure something out, because it's not just Tommen and Marcella that's been kidnapped. Oh no, Shireen too. I've been had plans for Shireen. It's just that I don't really like, for the Baratheons, I've got to get back to them more or less, because I started with them going into space and shit like that. But while I was making the Game of Thrones episode, I realized that I haven't really done much for the start, so I need to do a storyline, give them justice as well. Plus, I really don't like Bran, so I had to find a way to kill his ass off. And like, There was always theories about Brandon Stark being like the Night King, and like him making all of this happen just so he could just become king, and just essentially him basically playing God. I wanted to lean into my story. I wanted to lean into Brandon Stark playing God. I wanted to lean into what would happen if you tried to play God and then God showed up and just said no. What would you do then? How would Brandon react? But this isn't just like a God that's stuck in the clouds. No, her business is kind of out there. She's flawless. She's mommy of the flawless military. So she's not like God in a way where she's always watching you. She's a humanoid God in a sense. And that humanoid goddess has an environment around her and stuff like that. And Brandon has the werewood. And the one thing that Brandon found while he was in the werewood was the link to the galaxy. So it's not just Westeros he could link to. He could kind of link to the entire multiverse, which is why he was able to go inside Mavis, Ekagon, and Astronomers and Daenerys' mind to warp them and manipulate them to do more crazy evil shit, because like Brain's trying to destroy everything. And that just made Athena mad, because he didn't try it with Athena up until that one point when Athena was fighting Lucky Von and them. And then Athena was like, yo, who the little nigga in my mind? Oh, nah, you got me fucked up. And then Athena just killed him after that, because like she's a goddess of wisdom, and like, you know, you're trying to use telepathy on something that's literally in my domain. I'm the goddess of wisdom. What are you doing? And that's going to propel the Starks into action. But the one thing the Starks and none of the Seven Kingdoms knows is that Bran was doing all of this shit to them. That he was the reason that they had to go through all of their suffering and stuff like that. He kept whispering in their ears and stuff. They don't know that. Well, they know that he's doing it to some degree, but they don't know that he's the one that is responsible for every bad thing that's ever happened in Westeros. So, more or less, if the Starks ever find out, how will they react to that? Fuck it. If the rest of the Seven Kingdoms found out that Bran was on that type of time, how would they react? And would how Stark even be considered? Bro, how Stark might be considered public enemy #1 after that. Because you got this telepath that's been manipulating us. Like, you gotta think of it this way. Like, without the nuance and somebody to differentiate whether Bran was the one manipulating you or whether you had your free will, now you have to recontextualize and re-question everything in your life. Now Cersei gotta be like, yo, do I like my brother because I like my brother, or do I like my brother because Bran Stark whispered that I like my brother? And Littlefinger gotta be like, yo, did I try to fight that big nigga because I really wanted Catelyn, or did this little nigga really do that? And for instance, did he just... Like, seriously, every person in the Seven Kingdoms would have to reconcile with that. Because yes, Rogexio brought you all back to life and stuff like that and told you to deal with it that way, but Rogexio wasn't the one manipulating you guys to have the realm that you have to begin with. She was elsewhere doing other stuff. Brandon Stark was the one doing that. The only reason Rogexio even showed up to save Westeros is because Littlefinger and Varys said so. Because, like, Rogexio wasn't even going to show up. She resurrected Littlefinger and Mavis resurrected Varys because they got connections to them in a past life. And it just, since, you know, they're from Westeros, they're like, Littlefinger like, yo, like, Westeros is a really terrible place right now, and if we don't do something, like it's going to be under bad leadership. Like, it's either going to be Daenerys or Bran, and we don't need none of them on the Iron Throne. Could you just give it to me? And Rogexio's not going to give it to Littlefinger, because giving it to Littlefinger would be entirely irresponsible. In fact, no, I'm just going to change things so fucking drastically, where you would still somewhat get what you want, Baelish, where, yeah, people could say, yeah, Littlefinger's the one who brought all of these things here, but I'm not going to allow you to sit that Iron Throne. You'll be protector of the realm in name only, not king. And the same thing would go for Varys, which is something that Varys really wanted, because all Varys wanted to do was protect the realm. In fact, it was Varys' idea to resurrect everybody, to give them all a second chance to see what they was going to do with it. So, more or less, now Daenerys is mad because her birthright was taken from her, because, you know, she was in the middle of burning the city to the ground, and Rogexio was just like, nah, how about you not burn the city to the ground? I'm going to kill your dragon, and then I'm going to bring your dragon back to life, and every other dragon back to life, and every other Targaryen and Lannister and Stark back to life, and you're just going to have to sit with that. And like, the power difference is scary, because Daenerys is used to, I have dragons, I'm supposed to conquer, I'm supposed to be the one, this is my day. And then something even stronger and more powerful than you, Divine, shows up. And now you seem insignificant. And on top of that, you don't even get to sit the Iron Throne. She banishes you back to Essos so you can be Queen of Marine. So now you're Queen of Marine, you don't necessarily want to conquer Westeros, because like this goddess can literally become the size of the planet, so you wouldn't even consider doing it unless something put a battery in your back. That's why the Galactic crash outs are there. When Darkanda pulled up and gave Daenerys that crash out switch, it gave her all the justification to want to crash out on Westeros and all the people who live there. Even if they go out in the galaxy, fine, that's better for me. I'm already in space with the rest of the Galactic crash outs. I'll just fuck your ass up there. And then I'll pull up, like, Daenerys, like now, like with that crash out switch, Daenerys, like, she has every justification to be the mad queen that she was supposed to be, apparently. I don't know. If you ask me, she was just supposed to sit the Iron Throne. Her and Jon was supposed to rule the end. But they wanted to make her the Mad Queen. And in theory, it's not a bad idea. It's just y'all executed it wrong. Like, if y'all would have showed Daenerys, like, slowly deteriorating a little bit more prior to season 8, then maybe. But the thing is, yeah, so that's what's going on with Daenerys. And Bran Stark, remember, he was also shafted by this. So he wants to fuck the goddess over and all the other people over from the flawless military, and even Westeros itself. In Bran's mind, destroying the world, destroying Westeros is not it's not like above his plans. Essentially, he can do that because he wants to get back to the original canon where he's the king. That's where Bran's at with it. Now, since I'm going through like this video with the Game of Thrones, because I think that's where I'm more or less going to lean into right now, because that's where my mind is right now. It's in the Game of Thrones, so I'm more or less probably going to lean into that. But like I said, I guess I just want to talk about just the portions of my story for now. So what Littlefinger, this is a vastly different Littlefinger than the one you guys are familiar with. This Littlefinger is going through a redemption arc. This is a Littlefinger that came back to life, was told that if you ever fucking be in on some snake shit, you will get your penis burned off, singed off your body forever. And, you know, he's got close proximity. Even though the threat was there, it's still within close proximity to power. Littlefinger was like, yeah, she just threatened to burn my member off, but she could float and shit, and she's literally the queen of the entire galaxy. This is exactly what the fuck I was looking for. Exactly what the fuck I signed up for. I want the throne myself, but I don't think I'm going to be able to take her down. Not yet. So, honestly, I'm just going to behave myself, son, because the last time I was fucking up, bro, Arya and Sansa got me lacking, son. So for Littlefinger, he kind of just wants to just, you know, to him, it's just more or less, it's somewhat performative, but at the same time, it's leaning more into him actually becoming that, because you have to act like that before you could actually be a good person. You have to act like a good person before you can be one. Some people, for some wicked individuals. For Xemnas, it's even easier, because with Xemnas, it's like, Xemnas actually feels regret. Like, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, he naturally felt that shit. So, for me to make Xemnas and I get Redemption Arc, it's a little bit easier to work with, because Xemnas actually wants one. Whereas Littlefinger is more or less, he's my fucking favorite Game of Thrones character, so I'm going to give him one regardless. Now, Madara, that's interesting, because my inclusion for Madara to put him in the story, because, like, you know, originally, Rogexio was supposed to be paired with Xigbar. But then I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought about what type of characters these two, all three of them were. Rogexio is power incarnate, and at the same time, she's a caring mother that will beat your ass and then cook for you and tell you where you fucked up afterwards. Xigbar is an enigma. He's kind of a traitor. He's kind of like, you know, he's kind of like this dude that just more or less wants to mislead you and stuff like that. And I thought I recontextualized their relationship that maybe he was misleading her all along, because this was because this was a novella at the same time as an action adventure. But more or less, that's what's going on with Xigbar. Now, Madara is interesting, because Madara Uchiha ultimately became who he was because of that tablet. It lied to him and told him the secrets of the infinite Tsukuyomi, and he wanted to basically put the world into that. And at episode 1, Rogexio basically put a stop to that and killed Zetsu, because I don't like Zetsu, fuck him. Yeah, she killed Zetsu and more or less told Madara, like, yeah, she was trying to bring back Kaguya. And Madara, so at that point he realized that, oh shit, so this little black shit was manipulating me. That's crazy. So at that point, he just decided to work with Rogexio because she was hiring and he needed the job. Well, you just destroyed your entire planet, and then you just learned that you just did that for no reason. Yeah, I'm gonna need a job after that. I mean, who's gonna hire me? And then, so she hired him essentially, and it's been about 40 episodes since that. So Madara has had enough time to at least not be a cold piece of shit. Like he's still like the same Madara he was, but at the same time, more or less, like him and Hashirama are friends again. Which he missed Hashirama for a while because he was thinking about him, and Hashirama was back the entire time. He was just in the Bahamas with his wife. Because, like, you know, he came back to life. He wanted to spend some time with his wife. And, you know, he's like, you know what? I'm going to spend some time with my wife. We're going to be in the Bahamas. We're going to see the rest of the galaxy. And then I'm going to pull up. And then I'm going to see Madara. Because the last time I see Madara, I was in Edo Tensei. And he was in Edo Tensei. And we were at war. So, the next time I see him, I kind of want to see him in a better space. So, I'm just going to take a break. Because if I'm around, he might still be evil. He might still find a reason to do some evil shit. So, let's just say, let's just pretend I'm dead. But now, like, you know, because Madara is building a ninja coalition to go get Queen Machina and Rita. And Hashirama heard about this, so he's like, oh shit, wait, Madara's doing that? He's the reason, he's the one defending us against aliens? Oh, okay, now let me pull up to the village. Let me pull up to the village and see what's good with my village. So that's where what's going on with Hashirama and Madara. Now, I know a lot of my fans that seen most of my uploads have been waiting for the Super Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team, Super Zeo team, to make an appearance. Just in general, just more mainstream Power Ranger stuff. I'm going more or less to get to that. Because right now, Tommy is heading to the Island of Illusions, and Billy is on a mission with Dr. K, Dexter, and Beatrice Gravestone. So we'll probably get to see Billy and Tommy in action. I'll probably give something for the other Rangers to do, more or less. Moving forward, I do plan on covering like more teams than I did before, because I know I barely did anything with certain teams. Like a lot of teams got smoked in the Destroy All Power Rangers, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, that might happen again, because the Galactic Crash Outs are still on the prowl. So there's going to probably be some teams that won't longer be with us, but this time around some crash outs are going to be taken out too. So it's not just going to be as one-sided as the last time. But I'm just warning people because I know people can get attached to certain characters and certain things. But I'm just warning you because certain teams might not make it. Certain teams might make it. Now, as for the alternate universe that I wanted to create, it is essentially like this. The 2017 Power Rangers had their own reader, had their own villains, had their own journeys, which more or less branched off into other Power Ranger teams. These Power Ranger teams will be brand new teams that I'm going to create, and I'm going to make the Ultimate Rangers, which is Chase's team. Shout out to you, Chase. Will be a part of this universe, and they will have familiarity with our universe, but they more or less stay in that section of it. Rogexiel does have knowledge of this universe because the multiverse is just a big thing. Right now, the Flawless Military multiverse, it encompasses like kind of like every multiverse in a sense, but even this multiverse, there's other multiverses outside of it, like a mirrored versions of the Power Rangers universe. There's even an evil variant of the Flawless Military universe. I will get to that far into the future, more or less, if I even decide to go that route, because I made that. All right, for context, guys, before I started on YouTube, I made 30 arcs already. 30 arcs into completion with Rogexiel, Madara, Zigbar, Lucky Vaughn, and all the characters that you've grown to become familiar with. But more or less, I want to create certain different teams, just different outlooks. They could be a mirror of the same team, like for instance, like maybe it could be like a different variant of the Samurai Rangers or something like that. But more or less, it's going to be a universe with its own history, origins, villains, and culture. And yes, Ikagen's there's probably gonna be a variant of Ikagen and Madoko somewhere in there too. I don't do nothing without my Squid Demon, I'm sorry. But yeah, more or less, but that's when I get to those universes. I made new suits for the Space Rangers, because I do plan on touching on the Space Rangers, because now all of them are back, because the Psycho Rangers smoked half of them in the Destroy All Power Rangers video. But now the Space Rangers are all back. And the Psycho Rangers aren't too happy about that. Like, the Psycho Rangers don't like all the Power Rangers in general, but in their minds, so long as they killed the Space Rangers, they can feel comfortable with themselves. They can feel great about themselves. The Space Rangers being alive kind of bothers Psycho Blue and Pink and Black and Yellow and Red. I mean, Andro's always alive, but that's Andros. He like that, bro. Like, Psycho Red could try if he want. Andro's gonna put belt to ass, bro. Especially now it's an Andros with 20 years work experience. Nah, son. Andro's one of my favorite Rangers of all time. I should touch up on him more. And I definitely do. But like I said, my issue is I combine everything together, and I'm attached to hit at my universe at this point with all the characters that I already built and all the characters that are also here from other universes like Power Rangers, Game of Thrones, Naruto, etc. And the Yu-Gi-Oh team, I'm definitely gonna have to get back to them because fucking Galactic Crash House has been going buck crazy with Yu-Gi-Oh magic lately. Like System Down, Ash Blossom, fucking Necro Valley, Blazing Mirror Force. Like, they've been going buck crazy with the Yu-Gi-Oh magic. And he's gotten to the point that even like other factions are starting to be born just because this magic exists in this world, like the Lannisters. Like, the Lannisters were roughly just, they were just the Lannisters. Like, they were under the Flawless Military. That's just because the Flawless Military has jurisdiction over Planetos. But now the Lannisters are in space, and like they're actually making a difference because they're killing some of these fucking main villains and some of the Arbingers of Doom and Galactic Crash. Like, they just caught Eclipta lacking. Eclipta just caught a body. They just caught a body with Eclipta, which is gonna make Astronomer mad. There might be a battle in the future with that. But the Lannisters, the truth is, the Lannisters really want Tommen and Marcella back. Well, at least Cersei does, because after Daenerys, Cersei's kind of done with all of this bullshit. But Tywin's not. Tywin sees a universe fresh with opportunity. Cersei just wants to make sure her kids is good. She want to because Joffrey's gonna go into space to get his brother and sister regardless. There's not much you can. There wasn't shit you could tell Joffrey in Game of Thrones. What do you think you're gonna be able to tell him in Galactic Game of Thrones? I mean, you probably could chastise him, but she wants to be with Joffrey at this point. And Joffrey, like, the thing about Joffrey is people still mock Joffrey for his rule as when he was king and stuff like that, because since Westeros is kind of back to the way it was with Aegon Conquest, where everybody's their own king, it's like a shared diplomatic system where they all get together and make like decisions together, a great small council. Joffrey's importance has been greatly diminished, because in a system like that, the smart people are more or less going to like keep shit moving. People like Cersei, Tywin, Tyrion, they're going to be the ones that's going to keep House Lannister moving. Joffrey, but the thing is, now Joffrey's also in a world where he has technology and he has medication for his bipolarness, so he doesn't have to fucking crash out on people. And he has friends, like, Thanos fucks with him. Like, most of the troubled folk that are in like the Star Force and like the Flawless Military, like the youngins, like Thanos and Naragi and Aegon, they fuck with Joffrey, because in my mind, they're all terrible, but they're all, in this universe, every single one of them is trying to be better. Joffrey's trying to be better because he was cruel and he got himself killed. Aegon's trying to be better because he literally got killed by his own men. Naragi's trying to be better because he remembers what happened in the motherfucking Borderlands and stuff. And actually, he actually fucks with the Star Force team. He's actually pretty cool with them. And for I already said Joffrey. For Joffrey, Aegon, Naragi, and Thanos. And Thanos, just more or less because of the events of the Squid Games, like they went to like Borderlands and Squid Games, like most people died through that. So if you come back from that, you're not trying to get back in a situation where you need to be there. So that's what's going on with those characters, more or less. But I really got to get back to SPD, which is really hard because I had the plot line where SPD was against the flawless military, but now the Rangers and the flawless military are working together. Sky Tate is still mad about all the shit that happened, but like Jack is also there, so they're more or less focused on Ranger duties. Recently, they've been getting back most of the criminals that escaped. That's what the SPD's been doing. I might touch on them in this episode, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's basically what's going on there. And the Gokaigers, I gotta add Gokai Silver to the group, because last we left with Gokai Silver and he was under Bosco. So at some point I'm going to have to either do a fight where the Gokaigers fight Gokai Silver and then he becomes a part of the group. The thing is, it's different now because back then I had Power Rangers Pirate Raid as its own show. But now I integrated all of my shows into Power Rangers Altered Universe. And there's still Power Rangers Shattered Grid Redux, which I need to get back to. But I'm just heavily invested in Power Rangers Altered Universe right now. Tigers, I'm either going to add Guy to the group already, or there's going to be a battle, or maybe even a flashback. Because Guy has to be added. The Gokaigers need all 6 of their members. Plus, the Mega Force Rangers need all of their members too. Ashley, Riku's girlfriend from episode 15 and 16, she is the Mega Force Pink Ranger. The reason why is because, alright, there's 2 reasons. The lore reason why, and the story why right now is because right now the Mega Force powers need people to fight, and Ashley has a reason to fight because of Riku. And more or less, she's already proven herself because she evacuated people during the Hollow Bastion crisis. Like she was doing all of the protect the humans work while Sora and the organization were beating up the bad guys. So like the Mega Force powers feel her as worthy. Now the outside context reason is because the character Ashley is the precursor to Rogexio. Before I invented Rogexio, I had another all-powerful female character called Ashley. And like Flawless Military, it wasn't even a thing then. But the story, there was still a story. Like I had different characters. Like I had Alistair from Yu-Gi-Oh! I had Gara. I had this character called Jedi, which his character's been recycled into Lucky Vaughn, and Lyle, which bits of this character's been recycled into Naragi. But more or less, like that's the out of context reason as to why I chose her to be Pink Ranger, because she was Rogexio before Rogexio was even born. But now this is just a different character because this whole YouTube project is just me redoing my vast story that I've been telling for a while. So now for the Black Ranger and the Yellow Ranger, the Green Ranger's been decided. It's Orion. I already decided that. Oh no, Green Ranger hasn't been decided. I just remembered I made a Ranger form for Orion, a silver regular Mega Force Ranger form instead of like Gokai Silver. He has his regular Mega Force. Because the thing about it is, I did not like the fact that the Ghost Agents transformed into the Gokaigers. That didn't make no sense to me. Because the suits don't even look vastly alike. It doesn't look like a power-up. It looks like a new team entirely. Like, bro, the Mega Force Power Ranger power suits, they got mouthpieces and they're half white. And the Gokaigers is pirates and they're half black and they're 2 different. And they never explained the pirate aesthetic. So there was no reason for them to have the powers in the first place. Y'all just did it because y'all wanted, because, bro, want some real shit? Like, I'm about to crash out real quick, guys. I'm about to crash out because I'm talking about Mega Force, and every time I get in every time I start talking about Mega Force, I get in my bag, bro. Even more so than Cosmic Fury, because I forgive Cosmic Fury slightly. I'm still not cool with that talk no jutsu, which I did the Lord's End. I'm okay with Inkworth now. I already did my work to make Ikage the thing, so I'm okay with Inkworth now. But the talk no, there was no final battle with Lord's End, and best believe that's coming up here because I forgot who asked me. One of my fans asked me. Somebody asked me that if I was ever going to do Master Zed versus either the Cosmic Fury Rangers or the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. At some point I will. Because Lord Zed's main op is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He don't give a damn about the flawless military, Rogexio, Littlefinger, Xemnas, Madara. He don't care about none of them niggas. He don't care about Time Force or Wild Force or Mystic Force. Lord Zed is laser focused on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's their op. Everybody else is scattered because the universe is huge now. There's so much shit for us to do. So many people for us to fuck over and fuck with. So many grievances that we had. Like the Machine Empire is mad at the Mist Village because of Kasame. Reed is mad at the Shinobi Land because Master Vile died. And just more or less, yeah, that's just what's going on. What's going on there. And so there's so much going on, but Lord Zed, he's going to more or less focus on the Rangers and Inkworth. Like I said, Lord Zed's going to focus on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Inkworth, because Inkworth did express wanting to take down the Cosmic Fury Rangers. And Joker might assist him in that. The Cosmic Fury Rangers might need help. Because, like, Joker's still there. I'm going to give Joker something, bro. Like I said, this is why, like, I'm taking my time with it, which is why I haven't posted an episode, because I don't want to rush things, because I done made, like, over 100 characters in 1 week, and I'm continuing the story, but at the same time, I'm also trying to find ways to integrate these other elements in here that But more or less, I think they're either going to be separate things or a future story. Or maybe I might do what I did with Pirate Raid, where I make this a thing. Where I make them their own episode. But then I'll slowly integrate it into the rest of the story. That's what I more or less might do with some of these newer Rangers that's going to come out. Because like I said, the roster is stacked. Probably over 1,000 characters. Let's count it. If we count every Power Ranger team consists of 6 people. 6 times 30. 33 times is 90. So that's 180. That's 180 characters right there. Now, multiply that by 3. Because if you multiply 180 by 3, because 180 is the amount of villains that they probably would have if we include foot soldiers, generals, and all of that. That's just a rough estimate. Multiply 180 by 3. And this is just the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We didn't even get to, this is just the Power Rangers. We didn't even get to everything. Multiply 180 by 3. What do you get? 180 plus 180, that's 360 right there. Right there, that's over. Right there, that's over fucking 700 characters alone. Add in all the Westeros, that's 1,000 right there. Add in Naruto, that's another 100 people. So yeah, I have a lot of working with, guys. And there's people that want me to include things like Disney princesses. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm not really touching anything from Disney princesses right now. But more or less, there's going to be things that will be added, but right now, I just want to focus on getting back to it because I feel like I've been slacking. I've only been able to complete the Nominate and Dino sections of my video, and there's more that's going on. Like I started making footage for Tommy and the Dragon's Lord and him in the ocean. So more or less, I'm going to get to him. But I'm also a human that, like, you know, I have like a real life and friends and stuff and a job. So I got to do those things as well. So I'm going to get to this episode, and my deadline for myself is Sunday. But whatever I got, I'm going to make it to an episode, and I'm going to post it on Sunday. Hopefully, I like to make 40-minute episodes now. It used to be 20, and then I upped it to 30, but I really like to be 30. I'm sorry, guys. I grew up on cable television. I grew up where we had to sit down and watch something for 20 minutes. I don't like making short stuff. I only like making long things, which is why I make short things and accumulate them into a long episode. So, I think I'm going to end it here. May the power protect you, and stay safe out there.